messed up.
How do you say yarrow?
Welcome to How Do You Say Yarrows?
How do you say yarrow? How do you say yarrow?
It'll be all the fun in the world. Welcome to How Do You Say Yarrows? I'm Adam.
And I'm Gabrielle.
And won't you nestle into story time with us? Today we have a story of two friends, Bobby and Sarah, going to the moon. Let's explore their quick trip to the moon and back and see all that's coming into play on this interstellar adventure.
Dun dun dun. So, one spring, Bobby and Sarah got an invitation. It was sent to both of their houses that they had won the trip of a lifetime.
Ooh la la.
And the trip said, "Dear Bobby," and then "Dear Sarah, you are cordially invited to come to our palace on the moon."
What?
Yes! And they opened it. Bobby opened his invite and he was so excited. He always wanted to go to the moon. He was like, I can't believe this. This invitation came out of nowhere, or actually out of the sky, and I get to go to the moon. And then Sarah's reaction was a little different. She opened the invitation and she thought, oh my goodness, I am terrified. I'm invited to go to the moon, but there's a palace there? That means I have to go. I've always wanted to go to a palace.
Sarah in particular had always wanted to go to the moon palace. While she was fearful of space, she had heard that the moon inhabitants, not aliens, these were colonizers from America and the world here, really knew how to throw down a moon, and gosh darn it, she looked great in a silver dress. So even though she was terrified, she knew if she ever wanted to get on the cover of Vogue magazine, it was now or never. So Bobby and Sarah packed up. They packed a small bag because they only could bring a little bit on this spaceship, but they brought a tuxedo, they brought a dress, and they brought some fine delicacies to share with the moon friends. Because unfortunately cows had not gotten to the moon yet, so they did bring a lot of different varieties of cheeses, because they knew they would be treated with great dignity and great pride, or great love, if they brought cheeses. So they brought Swiss, they brought American, they brought spicy buffalo chicken cheese, they even brought some Gouda, an organic Gouda, paired with nice pieces of crackers, but they didn't have to bring the crackers. They knew how to make crackers on the moon. They did not know how to make cheese because cows had not arrived yet. The cows were very hard, and believe it or not, cows really don't like spaceships. Sheep, on the other hand, do. There's a lot of mutton on the moon. So Bobby and Sarah get ready, and they go to the space port so they can get on their spaceship and get ready to go.
Armed with their peace offering of all the cheese, which they packed in their beautiful new Yeti cooler. They were so excited. And the only thing was Sarah was getting a little nervous on their trip, so she kind of snuck some of the cheese and ate it. But Bobby wouldn't tell on her, and they still had plenty of cheese to share. So they get to go and get ready to go on this spaceship. And in order to calm them down, Bobby sang some songs to Sarah, helped her calm down by having her close her eyes and just listen to his whimsical voice. And Sarah just listened to Bobby because she really couldn't think of anything else to do because she was so scared. Sometimes the singing didn't work and the trip was very long on the spaceship, so sometimes Sarah pulled out her materials for coloring and drawing, and she just drew sketches of their spaceship and what she expected the palace would look like. And she colored it in, and Bobby was really great about adding details of what he thought it would look like, and they, by the end of their space adventure or travels, they had created a whole photo book of all the things they thought that they were going to see.
And then they landed on the moon, and it was an exciting day, because the moon people came and greeted them with great dignity and aplomb, and immediately they were ushered into a banquet. But much like in the Hunger Games, first they had to be prepared. They were taken to places so they could be waxed, so their eyebrows could be trimmed, their nails could be clipped, and they could be hosed down and scrubbed like cattle being prepared for the slaughter. It was an exciting day for both of them, and as they sniffed and smelled each other, they realized, man, we're really clean. So they brought their cheeses and were about to go to the Great Moon Feast and meet the people that had invited them there. But the Moon people are very, very cautious. They know that people often come to deceive them and take advantage of them. So they weighed the cheese, and it was found wanting. So they asked Bobby and Sarah, "What up, bro? Why are you stiffing us on the cheese? We brought you here, we paid for the space flight, and we told you to bring the cheese.
In 10
and you are a
miles,
pound and a
take
half
exit
short.
326 on the
And
right
it looks
onto
like your poop
I-76,
didn't come through
east
as much
toward
as we
Valley
thought on
Forge.
the spaceship. Is one of you constipated? Who could say?"
So Sarah broke down weeping. She had been so excited that she thought she had gotten away with her taking of the cheese. And so she just was honest, and she admitted to them that she had gotten nervous and a little peckish before the flight, and she had indulged herself on their special cheese. She asked if there was any way that she could make it up to them. And they said, no, there is no substitute for this cheese. And Bobby thought, there must be something we can do. We want to honor you, and Sarah feels so bad, and we want this trip to be such a great experience. So they looked around, and they saw that this place had a lot of, even though they didn't have cows, they did have a lot of growing nuts. And they had almonds, and they had cashews. And Bobby said, what if we taught you how to make cheese, a nut cheese? Would you be pleased? And the Moon people said, we might be interested if you could create for us a nut cheese that would replace the cheese that Sarah had removed.
So Bobby and Sarah worked to make some pecan cheese, some cashew cheese, some almond cheese, to provide a wide patata of flavors so that way the individuals could be happy and have a wide selection for the cheese that they took. So they presented it to the Moon people. They said, here, taste our finest nut-based cheeses. Even those that are lactose intolerant should taste and be pleased. And the Moon people looked, they each took a piece of each, and they chewed thoughtfully. They consorted with each other, they made notes, they ranked things, they figured it out, and then they came back with pitchforks and said, off with their heads. Because if it's not a cow-based cheese, is it even really cheese, bro? The answer is no. So they started chasing Bobby and Sarah, and they sprinted toward their spaceship. They knew not what they could do because they didn't want to die on the moon. It was not their day. After all, they had just made the cover of Vogue back home as the people that forgot to bring the cheese. But forgot they'd eaten. So they were running back to their spaceship, and just as they got on the ship, something terrifying happened.
As they got back onto the ship, Sarah realized that she had left all of the amazing new space clothes in their room. And she was gonna have to go home without this space couture, beautiful space dresses, space shoes, space helmets. And Bobby had to grab her by the shoulders and say, Sarah, it's not worth it. We have to let it go. And she said, Bobby, I can't. It's the most beautiful space clothes and I'll never be able to get it at home. We have to go back for it.
So Sarah sprinted towards the room and Bobby took off in the spaceship. Sarah, unfortunately, was jailed for the rest of her life because she stole the cheese. Inversely, because the Moon people now cut off communication with the Earth, Bobby went home as a hero, saying he had attempted to save Sarah from the savages on the moon. And he was wined and dined by the finest of people, and he never lacked cheese for the rest of his life. Sarah, on the opposite side, had to make space clothing, but actually things turned out okay for her in the end. She ended up running the jail and having charge of things, and even though you can't sell cigarettes on the moon because of obvious explosion reasons when mixed with pure oxygen, she did become in charge of things of like smuggling in cashew-based cheeses to the prisoners, and of course, making new friends all around.
The end.
Thanks for joining us for story time. We hope that you enjoy your moon-based cheese products today. You can follow us by emailing us howdoyousayyaros@gmail.com or following me, Adam, us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Bye.
Bye for now.